Hi, everybody. I have some updates for you all this week. The first is that I'm currently texting a spam number, which I don't think it's somebody I know. It's an Iowa number. They texted me at 9:49 a.m. Do you want to come over for dinner tonight? I will be making seafood. Oh, shoot. I just realized there's a typo in it. I will making seafood. It's probably not. It's definitely probably not real. Anyway, I just responded to them about 7 minutes ago. I said, sure, what is the address? They haven't texted me back, but I will definitely update you if they're real. Um, well, first of all, I can't be in Iowa by tonight, probably. But second of all, why are you making seafood in Iowa? I'm not coming over to your house in Iowa to eat seafood. I have an update for you. I previously talked about the foolproof onion rings food lab recipe and forgot to mention a crucial step that I don't think is necessary. This recipe says that you should freeze the onion rings and peel off the outer membrane after freezing. I don't think this is necessary. I've tried it both ways. I even did a batch where I did half on, half off because it is so tedious to peel them. I gave up halfway through and said, never mind. I don't think it's necessary. I understand the reasoning behind it because sometimes you do get an onion ring where that membrane is still intact and you just eat membrane and the onion itself gets pulled out, gets separated. But in my experience making these, that does not happen. So skip it. That's my recommendation. Don't waste your time. I need to issue a correction. Last week, I left out an ingredient in the ice cream sundae that I ate last week at Brian's parents' house, which was served alongside a slice of yellow cake with chocolate frosting. So here are the actual ingredients. Vanilla of the sundae. Vanilla ice cream, jarred hot fudge, heated up in a microwave, Cool Whip, and a maraschino cherry. I'll add that I once started a fire in my parents' microwave by microwaving a jar of hot fudge for too long. And if you couldn't identify what ingredient I previously had missed, it was the Cool Whip. Somehow I forgot to mention that there was a huge amount of Cool Whip in this sundae, which is crazy because I'm constantly talking about Cool Whip, how I live in Cool Whip country. I have a meat stick update. As I previously mentioned, I purchased 2 uncured pork sticks from Studley General Store in Studley, Virginia to give to my sister. I forgot to give them to her. They're in the fridge. Brian ate one. Well, Brian opened one, took a bite, turned to me and said, "Are these for people?" He did finish eating it, and he said he will eat the other one, but he did say they taste like they are for dogs. Big news update this week is that screwworm has been found in Texas cattle. So if this trend continues, expect beef prices to just be stupid high. I don't know if I'll ever buy beef again. I made that lasagna. I think that's one of the only times I bought beef this year. I have a license plate update. My sister saw a license plate, a vanity plate, that said 3 p.m. nap. Imagine seeing that car on the road at 3 p.m. and they're driving off the road because they're asleep. The Red Lobster in Times Square is closing down, unfortunately. I've never been to a Red Lobster, and I feel like I'm going to miss my chance because they declare bankruptcy every other month. Also, while thinking about seafood, particularly Red Lobster seafood, it occurred to me that I wouldn't eat vegetables grown in a landfill, nor would I eat pork from pigs that are fed trash, like loaves of bread with the plastic still on, which is commonly done apparently. But I do blindly eat fish that grow in an ocean full of trash. I have a food memory that I wanted to share. When I was 10, my dad took me to New York because I was obsessed with like anime and manga, but you couldn't easily purchase it like the way that it's mass distributed now. You had to travel to New York and go to a special store to find that kind of stuff. So my dad took me to New York and lost me on the subway. The train doors closed in between us, and I went on an express train up to the Bronx. Anyway, eventually we were reunited, and he took me to go visit my uncle at 11 Madison Park, which is where my uncle worked. He was a pastry chef there. Imagine being a pastry chef at 11 Madison Square Park, and your brother-in-law and his 10-year-old niece walk in overalls. How embarrassing for him. And then we sat at like a beautiful table, my grubby little hands all over the tablecloth. They made me a grilled cheese, and then my uncle brought out a chocolate dome. I think it was filled with chocolate mousse. It was incredible. Anyway, that's the only time I ever ate there. Yikes. Sorry to my uncle. I've started a list of things that I want to make, and well-fired rolls are on there. I think I talked about well-fired rolls last episode. I did a little bit more research on them and found out that the consumption of well-fired rolls is discouraged by the Scottish government, which is just awful. I really want to make well-fired rolls. When you Google well-fired rolls, there are a lot of images of well-fired rolls that are completely black on top, which feels disgusting. That's not really what I'm after. I'm looking more for like a deep, charred, bubbling, dark brown color, which maybe is not as cancerous. That's what I'm looking for. And I guess they're commonly eaten with a seasoned sausage patty that you make into a loaf and cut slices off of and fry off for each roll, and then a tatty scone, potato scone. All right. My last update for you before I go into my scent review is that my sour apple cider vinegar is bubbling away. I started it on May 31st in a gallon jar in a cabinet. I had a rubber banded paper towel over it, but the water kept evaporating too quickly. So I do have it capped now, and I am letting it breathe a couple times a day. It's super fizzy and cloudy. It smells like apple cider. I'm really into it. Now, I did find a person on TikTok/YouTube who made a video called How to Actually Make Apple Cider, which I think is rude. What's this person's name? Johnny Kyungwo. So he takes a bunch of apples and blitzes them in, like he actually makes apple cider, like an apple cider liquid, and strains it and adds yeast and then makes vinegar from that. It seems like a lot to strain all that. You really need some patience. I don't know. Maybe, well, all the squirrels have taken all my apples at this point. So, but I'll go to apple country in the fall and get some apples and try this again. But everybody else on the internet is like, don't do this. It's crazy. It's unnecessary. Like, you're going to hate yourself when you try and strain all the liquid out of the apples. It takes forever. So, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't think you really need to blend it up into a apple cider and strain it. But I've never done this before. Okay, scents. I said last week that I had a magnolia blossom in the house that made perfume the entire house, like magnolia flowers. Brian said that it smelled like garbage. I have balloon flowers in my yard that are blooming. And I was like, yeah, they don't have a scent. But then I decided to smell it. And it smells like a beach ball. Brian said, "You mean a balloon. It's a balloon flower. Is that why a balloon flower smells, or is that why a balloon flower is called a balloon flower? Because it smells like a rubber balloon?" I don't think that's why it's called that. It's called a balloon flower because it looks like a balloon and then it pops open into a flower. But it is insane that it also smells exactly like a balloon or a beach ball. Okay, let's get into the actual scent review. Le Labo Poivre 23. Official description. Poivre 23 translates into pepper 23. Yes. And it's Le Labo's pepper statement. Why pepper? And we're talking true bourbon pepper, the crown jewel of peppers, because it's the spice of all spices, widely used in perfumery, and we wanted pepper to finally get what it deserves, the limelight. It is a very warm, ultra spicy, truly ambery, and it's only for London for most of the year. Okay, that didn't really tell me much, so I also pulled a description from Fragrantica. Poivre 23 London by Le Labo is an oriental fragrance for women and men. Poivre 23 London was launched in 2008. The nose behind this fragrance is Natalie Lorson. The fragrance features pepper, labdanum, vanilla, incense, styrax, guaiac wood, sandalwood, and patchouli. Here's my review. This was not the freshly cut tropical plant peppery smell that I was looking for. Old instead of fresh. Vanilla extract. A waiting room with wall-to-wall carpeting and women's magazines. A closet with at least one piece with feathers on it. A plastic tub of toys in a preschool classroom. Faded red color. Opening up a glass jar on my dad's bureau filled with cough drops, binder clips, and big red gum. A chipboard box of Domino's powdered sugar. Sharpening a pencil in 6th grade. Boarding an early morning Delta flight in 1994. Aussie shampoo. Makes you think that your uncle is in the room. All right, let's move on to the internet. Top Chef. I think that as a society, we've moved past the need to know who the top chef is. This should be their last season. Despite this, here are really, really quick summaries of episodes 11 through 13. Episode 11, Falling Asleep, I wrote. Everyone accidentally makes the same crostini for the quickfire. This is what people make when they don't know how to cook and don't own pots or pans. We have run out of innovations. Let's just let them make random food like macaroni salad and call it a day. Anthony goes home for making 3 versions of Dry Ass Rabbit. Episode 12. They go meet folks who cooked for people after Hurricane Helene, and then they have to go cook an Appalachian dish using Appalachian ingredients, such as sour corn, for a crowd of 200 people. Then they go to Chai Pani. No surprise, it tastes local food. I've been to Chai Pani. I don't remember being blown away, but it's decent. It's good Indian food. Seeger makes chicken liver pate and nobody comes to eat his food, which is sad. I would have been first in line, but then the judges are like, your chicken liver pate was disgusting and loose and wet. So, I mean, you would think like 200 people who are going to a Top Chef event would be into chicken liver mousse, chicken liver pate. It wasn't like they went to a school cafeteria and served people chicken liver pate. So they maybe criticized his choice for a crowd, but Top Chef people should be fine with that. They all stand around in the woods for judges' table and get attacked by a snake. Seeger gets sent home and then turns around and argues with the judges. His sass level is out of control here. The other guy standing next to him was also on the bottom, Jonathan, one of the twins, keeps whispering to Seeger that he needs to chill and stop talking, but it's really too late for Seeger. He's sort of embarrassed himself. Yikes, get him out of there. It's embarrassing for him. It really is. There are clips of it on the internet. He argued that he did the challenge and that Jonathan didn't. The challenge was using Appalachian ingredients. You all technically did that, so there's no argument here. Episode 13. Quickfire. Tom Colicchio is in the kitchen making Billy B for a game of 20 questions where everybody has to make the dish without knowing what it is. I love when they do this game. Sherry pretty much nailed it. She said she could smell that there were mussels, which is impressive. Rhoda wins regardless and gets 20K. Elimination challenge. Create a dish that is plated in a unique vessel. They roll out a table of junk that they found at a thrift store for them to choose from, or I think it was actually Home Goods, which is even worse. One of the items on the table is a giant plastic platform stiletto that Tom Colicchio pours a beer into and then drinks. Rhoda, Sherry, and Lawrence end up making it to the final. Jonathan goes home, which is not surprising. I really saw Rhoda and Lawrence making it to the final. That makes total sense to me. But Sherry was kind of surprising. Like, Sherry was kind of middling. So was Jonathan, but also Jonathan, I don't know. Like, I wasn't really enthralled by any of his food. Sherry made a little bit more interesting food. But really, nobody was a standout this season besides Rhoda and Lawrence. Like, the third finale spot is just like whoever made it, whoever like they forgot to vote off, really. It's like in Traitors where the people who make it to the finale of Traitors made it there because nobody really noticed that they were there. They kind of forgot that they were there and forgot to vote them off. So that's Sherry, in my opinion. 90-day update, a 90-day food update for you. There's a Turkish man on the show who abandons his beautiful life on the Aegean Sea to move to Alabama with his American fiancée. So he lands in America with his new American fiancée. Her friend picks them up from the airport. And the fiancé says, "We'll go to Chick-fil-A one day, baby." And the friend in the car says, "Yeah, their chicken is halal." And the Turkish guy says, "Halal?" And the girls say, "No, halal," back to him. And he says, "Halal?" And they say, "No." And they keep doing this for like half an hour. My former supervisor, who I usually talk with about food once a week, has some updates for you. She let me know that the Ohio... Oh, well, this is actually a quote from an article. I'm just going to read it to you. The Ohio State Highway Patrol arrested online political writer DJ Burns, also known as the Rooster, at the State House on June 1st on a misdemeanor warrant. A patrol spokesman said Burns, who posts his stories to his Substack subscribers, was arrested on an outstanding warrant. He was booked into the Franklin County Jail, records show. The patrol did not provide further details. Burns' colleague, Max Littman, said he believes the arrest is related to Burns texting photos of cartoon character Shrek's penis to a state senator. If that is in fact true, that he was arrested over that, then it's blatant targeting a political opponent and a journalist, Littman said. I didn't know that there were photos of that out there floating around the internet. But I just wanted to let you know that. I'm in a group chat with some sort of like archivist people. And sometimes they send over clips from pictures of things they found on Facebook Marketplace. One was for an item called an interdimensional sound chamber. I'm sorry, I know this isn't food related, but I just needed to share this with you. I think it was about $30,000. It's called The Millennium Machine, an angelic gift to humankind. It's a giant art piece that you put around your bed and it cures you with sound. There's a printout, like a Microsoft Word printout that went along with the item, and I'm just going to read you a quote from it. While riding his three-wheeler a few years ago, the throttle of his vehicle stuck. This act threw Tom violently into a tree. Tom's injuries were massive. His ribs had been snapped off at their ends. His neck was in a spasm. And a specialist in the hospital told Tom that his neck was broken. Anyway, Tom healed himself and regenerated his ribs by sleeping in this interdimensional sound chamber bed, I guess. I recently found out through TikTok from that woman, Debbie, who has all those weird, oddly named dogs. I guess she lives in Ohio, and there's a pizza chain there called Donato's, which she pronounces Donatos. And they have a Hawaiian pizza, which has almonds and cinnamon on it. I feel like this could be good. Hawaiian pizza, almonds and cinnamon feel like something that would be in like a rugula. Like, but also ham and cheese feels like something that would be like in a croissant. Ham and cheese and cinnamon and almonds on their own separately feel like combinations that you roll up in a pastry dough. And so it kind of makes sense that they're both on a pizza together. That's the connection I'm drawing. I will say that my TikTok algorithm this past week has been really pushing the idea of putting MSG in desserts. People are doing experiments about it. And the comments are always just, put milk powder in your desserts. That's the MSG version for desserts. That's something that I feel King Arthur flour recipes I've been screaming about for a while now. Claire Saffitz. Anyway, I saw a couple tests. I feel like putting MSG in your cookies makes them look crazy. Look like they exploded, at least from the one video I watched. Then I watched an America's Test Kitchen video, and they concluded that a small amount of MSG makes the most sense. Because if you go too far, it starts to highlight the more savory tasting notes in your sweet dessert. I do want to make a malted milk tiramisu. Speaking of milk powder in desserts, I mean, malted milk is kind of similar, but I think a malted milk tiramisu would be, like a malted milk ball tiramisu, like chocolate and malt. Ooh. Oh, shoot. Sorry, I didn't finish the quote from the interdimensional sound chamber. Hold on, let me read you the full quote. Let me pick up. The specialist in the hospital told Tom that his neck was broken. He was even told that he would have to have 3 ribs cut out and some vertebrae on his neck must be permanently fused. Instead of undergoing operations, Tom chose to work on himself by doing meditations, past life regression therapy, massage therapy, and sound therapy with the sound chamber. Wow, there you go. Just grew all his ribs back. It was incredible. Okay. Someone on TikTok posted the original 90s school lunch pizza recipe. And then everybody in the comments said, yeah, Max from Tasting History already made this. Anyway, the cookbook itself for school lunches is available on Internet Archive, archive.org. And you can make school lunch recipes if you want. I don't know why you would want to do that, but it's out there. One of my favorite people on TikTok is DC Plate King. He posted a really good video in April about a wild ham that he saw. It's like a full ham that you would see in a deli case, and it's just out there on the sidewalk on a public staircase. So check it out. La Cantine posted a birthday cake flavored tiramisu. Let's see if they describe it. I think it's their 7-year anniversary. Rosewater milk soaked funfetti cake, raspberry jam, hazelnut raspberry white chocolate praline, vanilla mascarpone whip, and sprinkles. I'm not really into rose water or rose flavored things, but that looks fun. Malted milk would have been better, but my mom sent me an article from Bon Appetit called "Where to Stay in Philadelphia If You Like to Eat." I wish I had had this article for my Philadelphia episode when I couldn't figure out where to stay and walk to a place that'd still be open in between 9 and 10 p.m. I think I ended up making a pretty good decision, but I would like to well, let's just click to the article and see what they say. Blah, blah, blah. Oh my God, it's behind a paywall. I'll never know. I've been really into Scotty's Donuts on TikTok. They make donuts in rural Pennsylvania near the place where they do the Groundhog Day every year. I forget what that town is called. They make a lot of donuts. It seems to be a family-run business. It's actually like, imagine having a donut shop. Like, this is the only way I could imagine actually having a restaurant. Because it's like, I would like to have a small restaurant where it's just focused on a few things, like a small hole in the wall, divey, maybe takeout window place. But it's like, you're impoverished. The only way to beat that is to be making content the entire time. And I think, and then you can like pay people well. You can take time off. Anyway, they seem to be really killing it. But then I looked at their restaurant on Google Maps and it looks really weird. Let me click through. Okay, Scotty's Donuts in Du Bois, Pennsylvania. I mean, their donuts look killer, really classic old school donuts, but they sell DVDs, like used DVDs and Hot Wheels, which is just really strange to me. Another TikTok video I enjoyed this week was about the concept of middle food, which I subscribe to and I didn't even realize it. So what is this person's name? Teach me how to Tugi. Middle food. So she says her philosophy is you should either be eating absolute junk, absolute trash, or whole foods, pure whole foods. You shouldn't eat that random processed, prepackaged stuff in the middle that's sort of advertised to you as maybe healthy, maybe a good alternative, because it's actually just junk, but you're tricking yourself into thinking that it's good. At least when you're eating real junk, you're aware of it, and it sort of gets that craving out of the way. Whereas if you're eating healthy processed food that is junk and disguised, you're not getting it out of your system in the same way. And anyway, what is she showing? Like all the random like squeezy pouch foods, adult baby food, I guess is what it is. Anyway, I mean, sometimes people need something healthy and processed to save on time, but I understand the concept and I sort of agree with it. Now, there's a TikTok creator that I've encountered named American Lovely ASMR, who claims that she that she eats Fishwife tinned fish every day, sometimes multiple times a day. It's definitely sponsored content. So I don't know how true her claim is, but if it is true, you should not be eating tinned fish every day, multiple times a day, especially if it's tuna. Your mercury levels are going to be through the roof. Your grocery bills are going to be through the roof. Um, there needs to be a disclaimer because the tin fish culture is exploding, and I don't think people know how to consume it safely. Consider this the official PSA. Green onion garlic bread as the base for a sandwich is a video that I saw. Why aren't we always doing this? I think that's a genius idea. Um, it was by an account. I think they were called the Toasted Table. When I see TikTok or YouTube cooking channels called things like the Toasted Table, it makes me want to die. It feels so contrived. It feels like when you see a brand that's called like Basket and Barrel, and it's like, this is meaningless. This is private equity. It just feels like, I don't know. It's about the brand and not the content. Like the brand came first, the content, the substance came second, if it ever came at all. The Toasted Table. Sorry to that creator. I mean, obviously they're making really great garlic bread, but like, what the hell is that? Listen to Trixie's podcast as I do every week. Katya is still in the hospital. But I did want to mention quickly that on last week's episode, Trixie said that she's following a girl on Instagram who thinks that Sandra Bullock is trying to kill her. Corey Larkin, another TikTok creator, I think she's cooking in Ireland right now, as all the food influencers eventually do, made a creme fraiche chicken salad because I guess she doesn't like mayonnaise, which, fine. This is a pretty good idea. I do have a tub of creme fraiche, and I'm like, what am I going to do with creme fraiche? I have a tub of sour cream and a tub of creme fraiche unopened that I am not utilizing. So that might be a good use. I do have like 3 to 4 whole chickens in my freezer that I need to do something with. Oh, and my last internet update for the week is a fantastic update. I finally found the chocolate covered key lime pie on a stick that I had when I was like 19 years old in Brooklyn, and it blew my mind. I found them randomly from a Food 52 TikTok video. Okay, so to set the scene, I was in college. I took a event planning internship at a place called Mean Red, based in Carroll Gardens, and I helped them throw like raves. But like electro music was like the big thing there. I don't know. We would rent out like dim sum restaurants and Chinese malls and like throw raves in them. Anyway, I would also work out of their office, and for our last day of our internship, I was also there with another person who was interning. We had to throw like a block party and we rented food trucks. There was a huarache truck there, which is where I had my first huarache, and I've never had a better huarache. It was just like an old lady making huaraches. And then there was this key lime pie on a stick truck. It was incredible. Um, it's I'm like 99% sure that it was Steve's Authentic Key Lime Pie in Red Hook, which is like right around the corner from Carroll Gardens. They've been around since 2008, I think, and they make key lime pie in Red Hook. So check it out. And they put it on a stick and they cover it in chocolate. They also have a 10-inch, they have a 4-inch, they have an 8-inch. And when someone's only doing one thing, they're probably doing it well. And oh my God, I'm looking at these pictures. It looks luscious. My God. Okay, let's get into what I ate last week. June 1st, 2026. It was a Monday. 8 a.m. Counterculture coffee with half and half made at home. 9 a.m. Half of a leftover Bubba Burger patty. 11 a.m. A bowl of bran flakes with milk. 3:30 p.m. Back to Nature sour cream and onion mini crackers. 5:30 p.m. Thai green curry with green beans, a yellow bell pepper, and an orange bell pepper over basmati rice made at home. 7 p.m. Blue Bell cookies and cream ice cream. Pause. I'm pausing. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, I stress ate almost an entire box of the Back to Nature crackers. There aren't that many crackers in those things to begin with. But after taking, I mean, it wasn't a full 2 weeks off from work because I was doing work that entire time. And travel is never relaxing. Like I took 2 weeks off, but it was like I was traveling, I was hosting, it was fun, but it wasn't relaxing entirely. So being back to work on a Monday after that, yeah, with like a full inbox of emails, people asking me questions, yeah, I stress ate an entire box of crackers. Almost. I did make Thai green curry with green beans. Now, Brian and I like to play a thought game where we buy the little tiny restaurant at the bottom of the road and turn it into a meat and three. And we say, like, what would your meat and three be? What would your sides be? And I think, what did I say yesterday? It always changes, but yesterday I'd say, like, oh, I do a meatloaf place, or sorry, I do a meatloaf plate, and my sides would be stewed green beans, like a Hawaiian mac salad, and hush puppies. And then you have to have some sort of bread, like a well-fired roll actually would be nice. Anyway, I said, well, if it was my meat and three place, I would do these Thai green curry stewed green beans with pork. That's what I would do as a side. Just a little bowl of it, and you put it over some rice or whatever to soak it up. Really hot, spicy. This green curry that I use, it's really hot in a good way. But unfortunately, I ran out of my Thai coconut milk and I used an American Whole Foods store brand coconut milk or like coconut cream. It just, I don't know, they are not the same. I had to add milk and cream to the curry to make it feel even remotely like a Thai curry, and it still felt like a quote unquote jungle curry. Um, Yeah, I do not like American grocery store brand or even Thai kitchen is like trash coconut milk. It's not the same. I remember the first time that I went over to someone's house and they cooked with Chowco coconut milk, and I was blown away at how different it was. So I do need to order some. Anyway, come to my meat and three restaurant that I'm opening where one of the sides will be stewed green beans, Southern style, but it's Thai green curry. I bet no one around here is going to eat there. June 2nd, 2026. It was a Tuesday. 8:30 a.m. Counterculture coffee with half and half made at home. 10:30 a.m. A bowl of bran flakes with milk. 1 p.m. Leftover green curry and rice. 3:30 p.m. Back to Nature sour cream and onion mini crackers. 6 p.m. Tagliardi with cured black olives, lemon, and charred broccolini made at home, and a small pour of Sierra Nevada Pilsner. This Sierra Nevada Pilsner was not bad for an American Pilsner, except it came in a weird, skinny little 8.4 ounce can that was very confusing. It felt like a diet drink, like a Slim Fast or something. It was so weird. Tagliardi is Cipriani's take on mal tagliati, which maybe is confusing. There's a Wikipedia page for mal tagliati, um, which I've added a photo to. I have a really I got I when I was still in Chicago, I got really into taking, like, flash on Wikipedia style photos of food. You know when you go to, like, a food page for a Wikipedia page for a food item, and there's, like, a photo from 2008 with the flash on as, like, the only point of reference for that food? That is my favorite style of photography, and I have a whole, like, Wikipedia, Wikicommons page where I have tried to recreate different f I've tried to be a contributor, and I have uploaded all kinds of weird food photos like that. Anyway, I have a photo of the tagliardi that I made up on the Mal Tagliati Wikipedia page, so you can go there and check it out if you want. The caption is "A bowl of tagliardi, a modern pasta shape inspired by Mal Tagliati with broccolini and cured black olives." Anyway, um so mal tagliati is like the torn leftover scraps. Really great for soup, which I should have saved this tagliardi for soup. I love cipriani pasta. It's only like an 8.8-ounce box. It's like 250-gram box of pasta, but it's kind of enough, and it's so tender. It's like the filet mignon of pasta. So I cooked a shallot in bacon fat with 2 cloves of garlic. I added about a quarter cup of chicken stock and a handful of chopped cured black olives. I juiced a lemon and poured the lemon juice over the pasta at the very end with 2 tablespoons of butter, Parmesan. And then I had charred some broccolini in the oven. I got that broccolini at the farm stand with the cows from the previous week with my sister, and tons of black pepper. I cut the broccolini nice and thin and cooked it in the oven with salt and olive oil at 450 for about 7 minutes. And then I turned the oven off and let it ride with the door propped open a little bit. And it turned into like super crispy kale chip broccolini almost, but it wasn't too overdone. It was good. It like absorbed some of the pasta sauce. Okay, June 3rd, 2026 was a Wednesday, 7 a.m. Counterculture coffee with half and half made at home. 9 a.m. Cup of coffee with half and half at the office. Cake room. A partially eaten package of yellow marshmallow rabbit peeps. New York Times cooking page a day calendar recipes for inside out cheeseburgers and rhubarb crisp. And tickets to Beaver Rivalry, a Beaver Queen pageant in Durham. 10:30 a.m. Leftover curry and rice at the office. 4 p.m. A slice of Applegate deli turkey and half of a can of Sierra Nevada Pilsner. 6 p.m. Macaroni and cheese with sprouting cauliflower, red bell peppers, and onions made at home. 6:30 p.m. Lemon tiramisu made at home. All right, beaverqueen.org. So yeah, there were tickets to the 22nd annual Beaver Queen pageant that it takes place in Durham. Oh shoot, I missed it. It was Saturday, 4 to 7 p.m. People dress up as beavers and then you get to vote. Um the Applegate deli turkey that I got from Whole Foods was very herbal. Tasted like rosemary. Very thick. I made macaroni and cheese. Brian said this was the best macaroni and cheese he's ever had. I think that's an insane thing to say. This was good, but anyway, I'll tell you what I did. 1 head of sprouting cauliflower and 1 red bell pepper roasted in the oven in olive oil for about 15 minutes at 425. I had 1 onion, 1 yellow onion sliced along the grain and cooked in 4 tablespoons of butter. I took the onion out and added 2 more tablespoons of butter and 5 tablespoons of flour to make a roux. Splashed in some of the Sierra Nevada Pilsner and added 2 cups of chicken stock, 2 cups of milk, and 1 cup of half and half to start the cheese sauce. Once that was thickening up a little, I added a tablespoon of whole grain mustard, some garlic powder, a tablespoon of expired QP, 1 tablespoon of garlic Texas Pete hot sauce. The cheese that I added, I shredded an 8-ounce block of Tillamook sharp cheddar that was on sale at what's it called? Whole Foods. I don't think Tillamook products are all that great. I know that you're supporting a farming collective, but the products themselves are subpar, in my opinion. Half of a boxcar Doling chive-studded goat cheese block and 5 slices of yellow American cheese, which I think really makes for a perfect mac. I bought a pound of DiCecco large elbows with macaroni and cheese in mind. I knew I wanted to use up all these vegetables I got from the farmer's market. And I thought, I don't know, when I think of cauliflower, I think of like a gratin or like mac and cheese. I don't know. I think of cheese, I guess. So I was like, let me get some elbows for macaroni. So I buttered a 2-quart Pyrex dish. I love it. It's like this weirdly shaped old Pyrex that I have. It's shallow but long, and it's a 2-quart capacity. It's perfect for something where you really want to get a lot of browning on top because there's a lot of surface area. So I topped everything with panko breadcrumbs and dotted it all with butter, and I cooked it, I don't know, 375 for like 35 minutes. It's great. Makes a great leftover. I also made lemon tiramisu this day. I was busy. So I did a little bit of research to find other lemon tiramisu recipes, and none of them seem to include egg yolks, which tiramisu seems to include. I was a little confused. I looked at the King Arthur recipe first. They have a lemon tiramisu recipe, and they put a lot of water in the soak, which it's like water and sugar and limoncello. I was like, I don't know about that. I'm not going to add a bunch of water to my tiramisu. And what else? They also had an optional like gelatin layer to make like gel layers. And I was like, no. And then, there were 8,000 random blogs of people I've never heard of who wanted to make lemon tiramisu. But then I saw Giada De Laurentiis, and I was like, okay, I guess I know who that is. Her recipe was 3 layers. She made the biggest recipe on the planet. I sort of took inspiration from both of these recipes, but ultimately did my own thing. So here we go. Here's what I did. So this is my lemon tiramisu in a 9x9 glass Pyrex that Brian rated 10 out of 10. I put a whole cup of limoncello in it and easily could have done more, which is scary because I easily could have eaten the whole thing and blacked out. Maybe that's why Brian thought it was so great. 200 grams or 7 ounces of ladyfingers. For the soak, 1 cup of Luxardo limoncello and the juice from 1 lemon. And I will say, lemon, maybe I don't like limoncello, but I think Luxardo limoncello is disgusting. Maybe it'd be better if you made your own. Also, I want to make my own ladyfingers and flavor the ladyfingers. You could put lemon, well, anyway, just an idea. For the filling, zest of 1 lemon, 312 grams of heavy cream, half a teaspoon of vanilla, 8 ounces of mascarpone, 4 tablespoons of confectioner's sugar, a pinch of salt, an 11-ounce jar of Wilkins & Sons lemon curd. So the last time I made tiramisu, I beat the egg yolks and mascarpone and heavy cream separately. And I was like, why am I doing this? You could just mix it all together, I guess. Because that's what I did here. And I think that's what Giada did too. And I saw Stella Park, she does a a ladyfinger recipe on Series Eats, and she says, yeah, traditionally for ladyfingers, you have to beat the egg yolks and the egg whites separately, but you can just do it in one bowl. It's the same thing. And I thought, yeah, you're right, actually. So I do want to try her one bowl ladyfinger recipe. Seems pretty easy. So yeah, the filling, what did I do? I whipped the cream and I got the cream started first, and then I whipped the mascarpone into it, added some sugar, some salt, vanilla, lemon zest, and then I folded the lemon curd into it. Because I was like, well, I could do like the mascarpone cream layer and then a curd layer separately, but like, I don't know. I folded it in, and then I topped it with more zest from a lemon, and then I did powdered sugar over it, which was stupid because the powdered sugar just melts into it. So you could do powdered sugar over the top for serving, or buy that special powdered sugar that doesn't melt. Um, but this was good. And here's some other tiramisu flavors that I want to try, and I'm sorry that this has become a tiramisu podcast. Cherry and brandy, passion fruit, rum, cocoa, basil, whipped chocolate mascarpone ganache, and malted milk ball. So yeah, I think the next one, so I have a passion fruit curd. And when I worked at Milk Bar, we did a passion fruit chocolate chip cake that was divine. When my friend just visited from Milk Bar, she reminded me of that cake and said it was her favorite. And I was like, yeah, I always think that the pickled strawberry jam and lemon curd cake is my favorite Milk Bar cake, but the passion fruit chocolate chip one was really good too. So I have some rum, some really nice spiced rum. I have some passion fruit curd, and passion fruit goes really well with chocolate, as you probably know. So I'll just top it with cocoa. That'll be perfect. I think that passion fruit goes well with chocolate compared to any other tropical fruit because it does have that raspberry taste profile, and raspberry pairs so perfectly with chocolate. Basil, I think La Cantine had like a basil flavored something as a tiramisu component, and that inspired me to do a basil. So I did order a basil oil. I think it's a Finnish or a Norwegian baker, Manuela, I always forget her last name. She makes so many whipped ganaches as cake fillings, and I thought a whipped chocolate mascarpone ganache as the creamy layer of a tiramisu would be really fun. And then malted milk ball, as I previously mentioned. But don't worry, I'm going to end the podcast by talking about malt some more. June 4th, 2026, it was a Thursday, 8 a.m., counterculture coffee with half and half made at home. 9:30 a.m., leftover green curry over rice. 12 p.m., Applegate turkey, yellow American cheese, arugula, expired Kewpie mayonnaise, and mustard on olive oil toasted La Farm sourdough made at home. 2:30 p.m., a small bowl of cherries. 4 p.m., a small scoop of tiramisu. 7 p.m., leftover macaroni and cheese. I woke up on this day thinking about bubblegum as a flavor, as a concept, and how I feel about it. Okay, bubblegum flavor. How do I feel about bubblegum flavor versus how I feel about tutti frutti flavor and fruit punch flavored things? I don't like bubblegum or tutti frutti flavored things. And I wonder if it's because the actual flavor concept itself, or is it because of the actual flavor of bubblegum and tutti frutti themselves, or because those flavors are not identifiable concepts in nature that already exist in nature? And is the reason that I do like fruit punch flavor because of the actual flavor of fruit punch, or because the concept of fruit punch traceable to an actual food product, and that's why I accept it and like it as a flavor. Do you know what I mean? And I'm thinking for fruit punch flavor, I'm thinking in particular of the Starburst that's fruit punch flavor. They're the classic Starburst, and then there was another like 4 flavor pack of Starburst from the 90s that included a fruit punch flavor that was really good. I don't love like a fruit punch drink. It's not as good. It's a little bit too apple forward, but the fruit punch flavored Starbursts were incredible. Hold on, let me look that up. Fruit punch flavored Starburst. Well, now they're sold in like the all reds. But what was the original lineup? Hello? Oh. 3, oh my God, 3 unopened packages of Starburst from 1990. They had California fruits, original fruits, strawberry fruits. Hold on. Okay, I found an image from 1990s Starburst packages. Wow, I'm remembering. So the original fruits were cherry, lemon, orange, strawberry. The California fruits were red cherry, strawberry, watermelon, Malibu punch, and wildberry. I don't know if I remember having that. And then there were tropical fruits, which was wild cherry, tropical punch, red raspberry, and strawberry banana. I think tropical punch is what I'm thinking of, but they also have fruit punch flavored Starbursts. Anyway, why don't I like bubblegum and Tutti Frutti? Is it because they're manufactured made up? There isn't a mirror of them in reality. Unless you like eat a fruit salad, I guess. I decided to look up what bubblegum was. Bubblegum, there's a Wikipedia page. It's different chemicals, obviously, but it's supposed to mimic combination of different natural flavors. This is from Wikipedia. A natural bubblegum flavoring can be produced by combining banana, pineapple, cinnamon, cloves, and wintergreen. Vanilla, cherry, lemon, and orange oil have also been suggested as ingredients. Sounds awful. What is Tutti Frutti flavor? Let's look it up. I mean, I know it means all fruits in Italians. A nostalgic, sweet, fruity flavor profile reminiscent of bubblegum, cherry, and fruit punch. Yeah, that's why I hate it. It's reminiscent of bubblegum. Fruits used for Tutti Frutti ice cream include cherries, watermelon, raisins, and pineapple. Oh my God, that's disgusting. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't want to know anymore, actually. So I've been trying out a new lifestyle, eating a big breakfast and a fat sandwich because I'm always grazing and feeling hungry at home all day, eating crackers like a child. So I decided to also incorporate meat into my daytime diet, which I mean, I guess I could just try incorporating protein of any kind. I eat crackers and toast all day. I don't eat any protein, and then I'm like peckish all day. So eating a sandwich, like a big fat sandwich in the middle of the day, I didn't even need dinner, to be honest. I was done for the day. And it made me understand how Europeans are able to just eat something light at 8 p.m. in Spain for dinner. I was like, oh, I get it now. Also, having a little bit of tiramisu at 4 p.m. really, really did it for me. And eating a little bowl of cherries in the sun, also very European, at 2:30 p.m. June 5th, 2026, it was a Friday. 8 a.m., counterculture coffee with half and half made at home. 12 p.m., Applegate turkey, yellow American cheese, arugula, expired Kewpie mayonnaise, and mustard on olive oil toasted Whole Foods heritage grain sourdough made at home. 1:30 p.m., a can of Sierra Nevada Pilsner and a small bowl of cherries. 3:30 p.m., a small scoop of tiramisu. 7 p.m., leftover curry and rice. Every time I'm writing a small bowl of cherries, I think of the 90s when my mom collected Mary Engelbreit items. Did anybody else remember that from the 90s and early 2000s? Mary Engelbreit, she had all kinds of adult stationery for moms. And she had this one book or notebook that was called, instead of Life is Just a Bowl of Cherries, like the song, it said Life is Just a Chair of Bowlies. And it was chairs with bowls all over them. Anyway, that's all I can think about when I eat a bowl of cherries. I woke up early this day to do a few loads of laundry because Brian's friends and their small child were going to be staying at our house and arriving sometime in the night. So I was like, I guess we need to clean some stuff for them. And the dryer broke. So I tried to build a makeshift clothesline out in the yard using some of our greenhouse stuff. Went outside to go change the laundry, and I felt like someone was watching me. I'm always weary of men being in the woods, as you know. So I looked up and realized that Brian's cousin's daughter, I don't know what that is, like a second cousin. It should be really called a cousin niece. Brian's cousin niece was standing at the mouth of our driveway behind some trees looking at me. She's 18, a little too old to be doing that. She said, hello. I waved at her and said, hello. She turned and walked away. And I thought, okay. She's here for the summer. She just graduated high school. Anyway, 10 minutes later, I went back out to put some more wet laundry outside. And I looked out and she was hiding behind the tree again. So I decided to crack open a beer in the middle of the day. That is why I drank a can of Sierra Nevada Pilsner at 1:30 p.m. It was like 93 degrees out. We're in an extreme drought. There's grass growing at the bottom of Falls Lake. You know, I think I can drink a 8.4-ounce beer in the middle of the day and not feel bad about it. Anyway, after I essentially dehydrated my clothes like sun-dried tomatoes, I tried to fold them up and they were so stiff, I could have standed Brian's pants up on their own and they probably would have walked away. Brian called me and he went to go pick up like a giant vegetarian platter from our favorite Lebanese place, Sasul, so that I wouldn't have to cook. Because this couple in particular, they've had different dietary needs in the past. I never know what people's children want to eat. And also I have a rule now, if you're not texting me to tell me that you're coming over to stay at my house, I'm not cooking for you because you have to when people text Brian, I never know if or when they're coming, what if they want dinner or not. So if they're only texting Brian, he has to be in charge of dinner. That's the new rule. So Brian's solution was to pick up a giant vegetarian-friendly assortment of Middle Eastern foods and bring it to the house. And I was so excited. I was like, oh, I can't wait to eat this. Anyway, Brian came home, was fixing the dryer for a few hours. The people who were going to stay at our house called, said, what do you guys have for us for dinner? Brian said, oh, this big vegetarian platter for you guys. We also have frozen pizza if that's not what your child wants. And they said, could you cook us something different? And the answer was no, absolutely not. Anyway, they ended up going to Bojangles, because I guess that's better than what we picked up for them. And they brought a bunch of Bojangles over to our house. But by that time, it was almost 9, and I brushed my teeth already. So we sat around a table, and people ate Bojangles, and sort of stuck their dirty spoons into the vegetarian platter stuff. So I didn't get to eat any of the sassoul because I have issues with germs. June 6, 2026, it was a Saturday, 8 a.m., counterculture coffee with half and half made at home. 10 a.m., scrambled eggs, sauteed lacinato kale with sesame oil, and spiced fried potatoes with fried shallots made by Brian, and a small leftover piece of a Bojangles biscuit. 2 p.m., an iced coffee with half and half, tomato bisque with ciabatta, and half of an Italian hoagie at Strong Arm Baking in Oxford, North Carolina. Sorry, I forgot to write that, so I'm writing it right now. 5 p.m., a leftover fried chicken thigh from Bojangles and leftover macaroni and cheese. 8 p.m., a pour of Hopewell Brewing Neon Mixed Melon. So yeah, had a house guest still, so Brian made breakfast, and I gotta say the potatoes he made were delicious. I don't know what spices he put on them, but they were like crispy charred spices, fried potatoes, but like not too burnt. It was perfect. And then these like deeply fried shallots. It was great. Leftover Bojangles biscuit was kind of gross. And I had the leftover chicken thigh from Bojangles was really bad. I don't know how going to Bojangles was better than a vegetarian platter. Bojangles chicken is trash. I think Smithfield is a way better option, and it really makes good cold picnic chicken for leftovers. If you want to do like a, like a picnic chicken spread, get Smithfield chicken, big, fat, juicy chicken. I don't know. I mean, I went to Bojangles before the pandemic, and I had a good food experience there, but I also know that there are different like sub franchises within Bojangles. So I don't like very hyper regional like distinctions between them. So I don't know regionally what franchise I was in. But I don't think their fried chicken is good. And I tried some of their dirty rice too, and it was nasty. It was just like straight up chicken bouillon flavoring. Anyway, went to Strong Arm with the guests before they took off. I don't love going there because it's too busy and the whole interior space is just a line of people. It's a very small space. Anyway, I don't know if I've mentioned that I worked 4 shifts at Strong Arm and then quit, so I don't really go there that often. I feel a little bit awkward about it. But they have some good food. I think it's obviously good to have some place to go in this county. It's like the only place that does anything remotely edible around us. But they do. I've complained about they. We got an Italian hoagie, which I was like, this is an airport sandwich. I don't know. I don't think anybody has any business doing Italian sandwiches unless you're a proper Italian deli. Like, I don't know. Like, don't do stuff half-assed, is my opinion. Don't have a huge menu with half-assed stuff. Like, sort of lean into what you're good at and go for that. Don't try and make everybody happy because then everything's gonna be mediocre. Anyway, and then there was like a tomato bisque that tasted like vodka sauce, which was pretty good. It's like eating a bowl of vodka sauce, which is kind of my dream. What else? This mixed melon, Hopewell Brewing mixed melon. I mean, I was a little worried because I was like, am I going to like this? Because I don't like melon flavor, but it was super sour and dry. Every time I took a sip, I was like, do you know that? I mean, sorry, that's the worst sound in the world, but it's that when something's really dry, makes your mouth dry. That's the sound that I do. Anyway, I kept making that sound because it was super sour and then dry. I would order it again. It was great. I got it from Liquor Barn, my favorite store. 7 of June, 2026 was a Sunday. 8 a.m., counterculture coffee with half and half made at home. 12 p.m., grilled American cheese on olive oil toasted Whole Foods heritage grain sourdough made at home, and a small pour of Hopewell Brewing Neon mixed melon. 5 p.m., a chicken quesadilla tray with cheese curds and a Cajun chicken wrap, and part of a vanilla malt milkshake from Cookout in Oxford, North Carolina. I told you that it wouldn't be the last time I was talking about malt this episode. Third time, got a vanilla malt milkshake from Cookout. Delicious. I would highly recommend. Went to Cookout and Brian panicked at the ordering window and ordered a crunch wrap. That's the only note actually that I had from that day. Anyway, I should start a Patreon where I actually talk about some of the reasons why I didn't work at certain places I did. I don't want to trash my local community restaurant, the only place that we have, but there are reasons why I didn't work there. I won't say them publicly. But I also was interviewing where Bright Spot Donuts withdrew my name from consideration for reasons that I will not say on here, although I love all their businesses and I support them. And what else? I really regret not working at Ideals. Like, I emailed them. They were like, "Yeah, when you move here, come in and do an interview." And then by the time I moved here, there was a COVID resurgence, and I was like, "I'm not working at a restaurant." I don't know. I think I interviewed at a couple restaurants here, Strong Arm, Bright Spot Donuts, and I was like, "Do I want to go back into restaurants and all the problems that?" I mean, working in restaurants is brutal, and you encounter a lot of difficult, annoying personalities, which is everywhere, but I feel like especially once you get older, there are a lot of young people in restaurants, and the levels of immaturity are pretty high, in my opinion. Anyway, I don't want to talk too much shit, but I do like to give honest food reviews. Goodbye.